so stinking proud of your ancestors that you cannot imagine. So, here we go.
Okay, so number one across. Who is in 1976 was the Grand Master of the International Order of Hathaway and was a great
Videotaping it.
lead singer.
Now this, everybody probably got this. This was Vern Hathaway, of course, as everybody
Okay.
knows. He,
You have to tell me how to do that.
Actually, when he retired, and later in life, he went up and lived in Barrie at the Independent Order of Hathaway place, took care of the mail and everything. Lori and my dad and all you. Anyway, and he was in the Castle Royal Orchestra early on in his life and was a very predominant singer.
And as it said over on the board, if you went that way, the person that posted the first documented Hathaway Reunion picnic in 1935 was Aunt Jessie Tanner. Aunt Jessie Tanner. So there were some tricks in the wording just to make it a little more challenging.
She was the oldest daughter of Orville.
And then who joined the plan on July 13th of this year? Curtis married Brittany.
No,
That's
Mary
Robert
Ellen.
Lawrence.
Nellie.
So, and who was the second born child of William Henry Darius Hathaway that is the patriarch of your Ellen based
Mary Ellen.
relationship?
Mary Coleman. Mary Ellen, only they called her Nellie. That was the oldest daughter, right there.
Norris.
Jake. Jake.
And then
Choo-choo.
old, now new, Hathaway Custom Feeds. So Rob and Laura now run in Melbourne that business, which is being directed. And the walking thesaurus was born on October the 10th. It's my dad, Vern.
I was very, very proud to have been born on the 10th of October, which was Orville and Jane's wedding date, and 60 years. That was at their 60th wedding anniversary. Claudia Lee and I had their wedding early in the morning at Hagertville, so they could drive down and sit at the head table of the 60th anniversary. So those three pieces are good stories that have to be told, eh?
So that's the pre-October 10th. And how many children did William have? The answer to that was 13. Later.
I can tell you all of Orville's 12, but I can't tell you
Okay,
William's 13.
so this is a very good story, which you lose in translation here, but the answer to number 9 was serpents. So this is what happened.
Norris, on 1885, September the 15th, he took his older brother's wife's younger sister to St. Thomas to Barnum and Bailey Circus. Jumbo the elephant, stupid as he was, wandered out in front of the train and got killed. It took 36 hours to clear the track. So Norris was not able to get his date, Elizabeth, home in a timely fashion. So he immediately married her so to not besmirch her honor. That's how honorable Hathaways are.
1885. An elephant caused a train wreck. Now we know that. So I know history forever. So what did Orville chase cabbage in a hen's nest? We talked about not putting this one in, but
Okay.
at Uncle Jay's farm. We're only taking craft or food.
This is your uncle. Which name would you choose? Would you like the poop or the crap? Yeah, it was crap. That's the proper answer. Anyway, as a big joke, my dad and Reg and all of them were playing, and Chink crapped and stuffed it in Jay's hen's nest as a joke. But and Chink was absent from premises for quite a while after that, so Uncle Jay had quite a temper.
Okay, and this is maybe another artifact we could have left in, but where did Jean Essay Hathaway reside for many years? At Beck's Sanitarium.
And Jean had misfortune of having TB, so she had to live in an institution at Byron in London. Uncle Jay never had a car. That team of horses, only method of transportation. Every Sunday, and lots of people did it, Lori and Rich and Dad and Bill Crothers and some on the other side, would pick Uncle Jay, a bachelor, an old bachelor who'd never had any kids, up at his farm, and he would have made loaves of round loaves of bread like that, which he always made. He would make salmon sandwich. Now, I didn't make up the menu, so don't shoot me. But he'd always take salmon sandwiches, fresh fried chicken, which he prepared himself, and the fixings for the nephew and wife and Jean and him for dinner. Now, what a wonderful, wonderful man, eh? Most of them, they put him in a home now. But, like, it's just wonderful.
And then afterwards,
Yeah.
He could get you if you got in there chasing the cow.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I had more than once with you.
You remember well.
Oh, yeah.
You skipped two. Like, I know the answers, but you skipped the Hathaway area October 10th.
so that was the October 10th, and then if you go to 8 down, those were all the October 10th. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, Dad scooped all those stories in one. So quad 9 is the answer to 11 across. Quad K-N-I-E, and then Jane Tufton was 8 down. Okay, so Spring Bay Park was the answer to 2 down. That's where the reunion was from 1942 to 1978. And the answer to 3 down was Grandpa Murray. So, but in your crossword, it was Murray's Senior.
You gotta listen to this too, whether you want or not. In 1952, say in the late 40s to the 50s, fastball was an institutional. It was what you did in small communities for entertainment. Nobody had any money. Nobody had television. Nobody had nothing. And Lori was the scorekeeper on this. Anybody who's interested, in the museum at Strathroy right now, there is a display of this team. One of the coaches they won and everything. They won all Ontario OASA D ball, which was the first time that ever happened. They beat out a team from Mount Hope, which is near Hamilton. Bill McLeod hit the home run. My dad was voted the most valuable player, and they gave him one of these coats in the basement.
So
Okay.
the next one's baseball as well. So next generation from 1970 to 1980, with the exception of 1 year, Roger played for SA Championship.
And then that name was Roger Hathaway. He was a first class, good hitting, well-fielding shortstop. That's a bit clumsy. No. Roger played ball we won the championship 6 times. What made me the proudest was when we won it the first time in 21 years. My dad was anyway. There was 5 Hathaway
Boys.
boys in the starting lineup.
When it came back.
2 of them right over here. Brian played left field. Don was third base. Eddie Hathaway was a first base catcher. I played first base, and Roger played shortstop. All except this one. We were going to play Strabane. It was a championship game. In the warm-up, he threw like that, and the timer went with it, and he threw his shoulder, and he missed that season. So that was just a sneaky way to lead into. There were 5 Hathaways on the starting lineup of that first championship game.
And so then the youngest son of Murray and Alma is obviously Uncle Don, and then his only son is Sheldon. So that's the answer to 5 now. And okay, this is a good story. So 139 miles away from his destination, Uncle Reg
Owned a fleet of trucks, and he hauled a lot of cattle out of Cobblepille on Saturday night. nobody should ever question the toughness of Uncle Ray. Partner killed him 3 or 4 times with it. Decided a few things like that. But he had the last load into Toronto, and putting them in the gate, nobody around.
Mom.
Big steer hit the gate, hit him right in his nose and broke his nose.
Just remind the kids.
Flattened it on the side of his face. Uncle Reg went in to the washroom, took wet paper towels, as cold as he could get, got in front of the mirror and got his nose so it resembled a nose. Then he got in his truck, which would be a 4 to 5 hour drive from then on, all number 2. He got back as far as Christina, a little town east of Melbourne, to Leonard Brothers' house. And his eyes had swollen shut, and he gave up. He had to go in the house. He couldn't. What a lazy man. Another 3 miles. That's the resolve and the toughness of that.
Now, somebody's got to tell this story of Uncle Laurie.
Yeah, this is highly technical. You tell about the Iron Man. This is Karen. Karen's going to tell about the Iron Man.
This is the Iron Man, just in case anybody didn't recognize it.
Okay.
What was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, just before Christmas, Dad wasn't feeling good, and he ended up in the hospital and was all yellowed with jaundice, and we weren't sure what was wrong with him. And it came down to the fact that many, many years ago, somebody told Dad if he took desiccated liver, it would give him energy and make him feel good, and he did. And he's been was taking desiccated liver every day for, 30 odd years. And as you may or may not know, liver is very high in iron. And what happened, because he took it for 30 odd years, that you're really not supposed to, his iron levels went through the roof, way off the charts that was unimaginable, and that's what was causing all this problem. Once he got off the iron, and his levels in a few months slowly kept coming back down to normal, and he's fine. But during that period, Bernie went to see him one day, and that's what he was saying, that he was the Iron Man.
Well, he didn't tell Dad that, because Dad was arguing with me. I said, no. I said,
I thought it was you he told you
the last
that.
time I saw Great Uncle Laurie,
My memory's going a bit. I just make up what it is.
Well, anyway, for a long time after, he kept saying he was the Iron Man. So he's got lots of strength, and he's doing fine now, and that's
Hey,
great.
he told me when I telephone visits, he thinks that's why I always wanted to go up north.
Is that what he said?
Anyway, he's sworn off and promised he's going to leave the iron alone unless Karen okays.
Yeah, that was right. So we touched on this one in 1879 on October the 10th. Jane Tuffin married William Henry Dury's Hathaway.
No, Orville.
Orville. Okay, so this was
That should have been Orville. That was not my fault. That was
all my fault. But something had to come wrong, so that was a good thing. And my mom has a dog, which apparently isn't my dad's dog, and his name is Booster.
and a very nice dog, I might add.
Your box. And what happened on Mayfair Road to Joseph Tanner, this is sad, while he was thrashing with Chase and Gillies DePure.
Putter. Anyway, Joe Tanner was he was 19 years older than Jesse. So that was quite an age difference, but he was a thrasher and a farmer. And Jack Fletcher told me this story, and it's absolutely true. They were thrashing and they were trying to go over the CNR track, which was quite sharp. And they were blocking it and trying to pull it up with the traction engine. Well, they had a little trouble with that, and in the heat of the battle, the thing got going backwards and run over Joseph Tanner's leg. And harmed him quite a bit, but they got him out and they got him laying on the ground. And Gillis DePutter and Chase, they were excitable people, and they said, Gillis was saying, oh my goodness, Mr. Tanner, this is absolutely horrible. He said, could I get you a drink of water? And they said, Joe opened his eyes and said, where in the hell are you going to get me a drink of water around here? And that was the extent of his excitement, Joe. That was how tough he was.
And the next one is Bill Gates' answer.
Yep.
From earlier. What is William Henry Darius Hathaway's name?
Yankee Bill.
Yankee Bill. Because he came from New York.
Yep, that's right.
That's the beginning.
William Henry Darius Hathaway came from, when he was 9 years old, he drove a canal horse for his father on the side of the Albany Canal, like pulling the barges. But he didn't want to fight against, when the American War, he didn't want to fight England, and he became a loyalist, and that's how he got here.
And what did Grandpa Samuel almost bite into returning from the Hathaway family reunion every year? Uncle Lonnie was the answer.
Reg and my dad, I've heard them talk about all the time. They'd be a very, very important day in their life with the family reunion at Springbank Park. The one downside of it, the Kilworth Hill was between Springbank Park and home. And those old cars, some of the times, as Lori pointed out, they even
But I want
had
to
to
know where
back
Cooper is too.
the hills. But they said when Grandpa Sam came around that curve and seen the hill, and he'd be smoking his pipe, he would almost bite his pipe stem right in two. It was like a fight with him in the car, you know, over the hill.
And the only daughter of Murray Jr. is Pauline, and Pauline has 3 sons. Jackson, and Judd. I get it every time I get caught. Who lived for several years after being pronounced dead? This is yours too.
This is the most macabre thing you're going to hear about our family. And Reg told me this himself, so it's the truth. But anyway, Orville, or Jane, I mean, became sick and died. Uncle Jay went over to Uncle Arch's to tell him and to break the news to him and make some arrangements, because Dr. Washburn was sitting in the kitchen, and all of a sudden they heard some groaning. And he went in, and Jane was alive and lived for several years after. He never told me exactly how many, but that is a true story.
Wow.
So we don't give up easy. Anyway, this here was just our attempt to tell you how good a stock you came from. And if next year they want to go on with some more of it, that'll be okay. And if they don't, we still won't. So whatever. But anyway, it was. We hope you had some fun.
Yay.